Right now at 6, picking up the pieces. After wild winds topple trees and down power lines, blocking roads and knocking out power to thousands.
I got dressed in the dark and made my coffee on a, camp stove, and then got myself in the car and got here.
Plus, a food truck owner and his girlfriend hit by a suspected drunk driver who was trying to run from police.
It happened so fast that he didn't even know what happened either. It's like he kept asking, what happened, like I don't remember.
Why it may not have been the first time. And call it a change of venue this June for Portland's Grand Floral Parade. The iconic event will now march, stroll, and float through the Rose City.
Thanks for joining us. I'm David Mulco, and we begin with the aftermath of a wild windstorm here in the Pacific Northwest. The cleanup after gusty winds 40-50 miles an hour toppled trees onto roads, onto power lines, to homes and cars. Utility crews still cleaning up right now, trying to get those lights back on. Let's take a look at the PGE outage map and where things stand right now. Just under 3,000 customers impacted. That is great news considering PGE says it restored power to more than 105,000 customers over the last couple of days. Let's begin tonight with meteorologist Joe Ranieri in Northwest Portland, where there's been a chorus of chainsaws, so to speak, trying to clear things up on those roads. How's it looking, Joe?
It may not have been the biggest storm we've seen in recent years, but Monday's windstorm did a number to area trees. Portland Parks and Rec Urban Forestry received nearly 80 tree-related emergencies. Many trees that came down knocked out power.
It was almost like a snowstorm covered with moss on these roads.
Jeffrey Avina lives along Northwest Old Germantown Road.
Late afternoon picked up probably around 5 and started to get very, very gusty. You could hear trees cracking, branches were coming down all over the place, including all around our house. The tree right there on the left side, that was a tree that had come across this gentleman's property. And
all of Old Germantown Road was closed because of downed trees and down power lines.
And it was laying right on top of these wires up here. So the wires were bent all the way out, all the way to the other side of the road. This road is a road with probably 50, 60 families, so we're not on the top priority list in terms of PGE triage. Functionally, we expect power hopefully by the end of the afternoon.
It's those downed trees that has kept crews from all over the city and the county busy.
So they've been working really around the clock over the last 24 hours, dealing with issues both on the east and the west sides of the county. Downed trees, power lines, watching for potential landslides.
Sarah Hurwitz with Multnomah County doesn't expect things to quiet down, even though the weather has.
Lots of water has come down in the last 24 hours, and so while we might be kind of out of that wind event, we're now potentially looking at landslides. So because that soil is so saturated.
While crews scramble to turn back the power on, Old Germantown residents know things could have been a lot worse.
We can't complain. Last year we didn't have power for 10 days in the big ice storms, and huge trees were coming down that would make this tree look miniature.
And David, back here live in Northwest Portland, where lights are coming back on for a lot of residents in this area. But now the concern is going to go toward people who are in parts of the west side of Multnomah County, as well as the east side. And again, Sarah Hurwitz, who you just heard from with Multnomah County, told me those are areas that are prone to slide. So over the next 24 to 48 hours, that is an area that they're going to be paying close attention to over the next couple of days. Back to you.
Glad to see that light blinking bright red behind you. Joe Ranieri in Northwest. Thanks, Joe. Meanwhile, Clatsop County was hit especially hard, and just under 2,000 Pacific Power customers are still in the dark there tonight. Libby Dowsett has the latest from the Coast Range.
A downed power line blocks our way along Highway 103 to Jewel, but within the hour, crews are up in the bucket getting to work. Monday night, a big tree blocked this road.
Clatsop County road crew came and got a front loader and moved it out of the way, and that was the only way we were going to any of us get through.
Stacy Morrison works at Baker's General Store and also serves as an administrator for the local fire department.
And we're kind of a community hub, so we make sure that we stay open during this kind of situation so that people can still get the basic necessities, and we do so by lantern light and with headlights.
Down the road, we happen upon Brad and Christina Johnston out surveying their trees, one in particular not doing well after the storm.
The way it's bending, it's definitely going to go along the road. Physics and gravity is going to pull it.
More than 15 small towns and unincorporated areas covered by Western Oregon Electric Co-op spent Tuesday without power. The superintendent of the Jewell School District said they planned for a 2-hour school delay like Astoria, but then had to cancel school altogether due to the roads. But this community knows how to handle it.
You know, I got dressed in the dark and made my coffee on a, camp stove, and then got myself in the car and got here. We're used to situations like this, and I think most people know how to take care of themselves.
Libby Dowsett, KGW News.
Well, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino now. Matt, much quieter out there today. That is great news for cleanup crews. But let's talk about those winds last night. How strong did they get?
Yeah, several gusts in the metro area over 50 miles an hour. But quiet's a good word to describe the weather going forward. Here goes our storm as it moved on into Vancouver Island and southern BC last night. It is now a thing of a past. Now, let's go a couple of highlights for you from the storm, if you will. This picture from ODOT. Out east of Prineville, that's the Crooked River flooding over Highway 380 there. So again, the impacts from this system widespread, covering really all corners of our state. This is video Suzanne Donaldson shot on Sunday of Multnomah Falls. Look at how much water, the volume of water there. And as she said, water just flowing everywhere as it came on down. So some storm highlights for you. The 1-inch hail in Molalla last night with the thunderstorms that moved on through. Clatsop Spit out by Astoria had a gust of 88 miles an hour. So did Cape Disappointment, just on the other side of the Columbia River on the Washington side, same value. Portland had a gust of 52 miles an hour. That's at the airport. But we had a gust in Shoals of 74 miles an hour and several gusts throughout the region, Multnomah County, Clackamas County, Washington County, over 55 miles an hour. Now the rainfall. Mount St. Helens had 7 inches over Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Parts of the Coast Range picked up even more than that. And right here in downtown Portland, we had over 3 inches of rain in 3 days. So it really was a winter wallop that lasted 3 days. Now tomorrow morning, some fog, but then the east wind kicks in, that blows that out. We'll be in the 60s, a nice taste of early spring weather as we go through the rest of the week. David?
A lot of folks looking forward to that. Thank you, Matt. In your headlines, authorities have arrested a third man in connection with an alleged burglary ring they say has been preying on Portland area businesses for months. According to court documents, Daniel Blue was indicted last week on 11 charges stemming from 3 burglaries in southeast Portland. Investigators say Blue and 2 accomplices broke into 2 pot shops and a Domino's Pizza on the night of September 30th and stole cash and merchandise. A key clue for investigators, the car the suspects allegedly used had a Domino's Pizza delivery sign on top. The DA's office says Blue is one of more than 10 people they believe are involved in this overall ring. A teenager has been injured in Clackamas in what appears to be a gunfight. Deputies say witnesses reported what 2 people were shooting at each other outside an apartment complex. This was just after 5 in the evening near Southeast Causey and 90th, not far from Clackamas Town Center. Authorities say the injured teen was involved in the shooting and was taken to the hospital. Nearby apartments and at least 1 car were hit by bullets. Witnesses also said they saw 3 men running away. And a federal judge in Seattle has temporarily blocked President Trump's executive order seeking to severely limit refugee admissions into the country. The order called for an immediate stop of refugee resettlement services and all federal funding to aid organizations. 9 nonprofits sued to block it. In the ruling, the judge said the president doesn't have the authority to unilaterally end a program created by Congress and pull its funding. Demonstrators outside that courthouse cheered the decision.
The Torah commands us 36 times to welcome the stranger, for we were once strangers ourselves. And we are so happy that because of this court, we can continue fulfilling that commandment in this country.
A similar lawsuit brought by Catholic bishops is also pending in federal court. Now at 6, a Portland food truck owner is recovering after a suspected drunk driver crashed into his vehicle as police tried to pull that driver over. Devin Haskins is live in Northeast Portland. Devin, before we get to the suspect, how's the guy who survived this doing?
Yeah, so the owner of the food truck is out of the hospital. He was released yesterday. His girlfriend, though, still in the hospital. Both have several weeks of recovery ahead of them to get better. This all happened here on the street just outside of their food truck. They were in their car, getting ready to go home, turning their car around in the middle of the street when they were broadsided by that driver suspected of being under the influence. This is what's left of the car Silverio Mendez's dad was driving on Friday night with his girlfriend.
Even though the hit was on his side, it seems like the whiplash ended up getting her a lot worse.
It was around 10 p.m. that night. Mendez's dad, Silverio Nino Guatemala, had just closed up his food truck along Northeast Prescott and 71st. He and his girlfriend, Julie Parra, were in their car to head home and had started to turn around in the street when they were hit by another car on the driver's side.
It happened so fast that he didn't even know what happened either. It's like he kept asking, what happened, like I don't remember.
Portland police say an officer had tried to pull over the driver of that car, Rafael Gonzalez, a few blocks away. The police report says Gonzalez was driving erratically through traffic, driving 15 miles over the speed limit when he crashed into their car and took off running. Police arrested Gonzalez a couple blocks away. Both Guatemala and his girlfriend Julie Parra went to the hospital with serious injuries. Parra is still there.
It had to do with his neck, his back, but I mean, as you can say, because of the trauma and everything, his whole entire body hurts.
Mendez, who co-owns Nino's Birreria with his dad and brother, says his dad will be out of work for several weeks.
He's going to be out of work for a good amount of time. I mean, he does work with us, and he also does work with a friend of his that he helps out. But probably for the next couple months, he won't be working. And even if he does come back to work, it's going to be a few hours here and there because it's a lot on the body.
The driver, Rafael Gonzalez, is currently in the Multnomah County jails, charged with several crimes, including DUI, something he's been arrested for in the past. In fact, when officers asked him why he ran, why he didn't pull over, he admitted that he said he had a warrant out of Washington County, which we looked up his court records for. He does, for DUI. Back to you.
Devin Haskins in Northeast Portland tonight. Thanks, Devin. Developing this evening in Camas, family and friends are searching for a local gym owner they say has been missing for over a week. This is a photo of Cannon Sullenberger. According to a private investigator hired by his former in-laws, the 51-year-old went missing sometime between the evening of February 16th and the morning of the 17th, so that's 2 weekends ago, and did not show up to work. His colleagues alerted police and asked for a welfare check. That is when officers found Sullenberger's 3 dogs, along with some personal items left behind inside his apartment.
There has been no indication from anyone I've spoken to this far about substance abuse issues, mental health issues, depression. I don't have any of that yet.
All right, the PI says she's looking into all possible leads with canines and drones also involved in that search. Happening right now on our KGW Plus TV app, Portland has a brand new city council, and KGW is helping you get to know some of the city councilors. They're streaming the 3rd of the Portland City Club's Get to Know Your City Councilor series. You can meet the 3 councilors here for District 3. It includes parts of Southeast and Northeast between I-205 and the Willamette, and look for a final event from the remaining district in the coming weeks.